Okay, so now let's I'll switch this to a 2-view layout. I will now start by first creating a backup for this current progress that we have. So let me just push this here, and then I'll just select this, shift drag. Now I can just close or hide the rest, select this, and then I'll switch to the panels orthographic and side. Okay, so what we will do now is we will start to round this up, that portion of the head. So I can switch to right click from here. I'll choose edge selection, and then I'll select this two, hold shift, right click once more, and then this time I will choose the connect tool. I can choose one, press Q, and then there it is. Now I can right click, I can switch to the vertex selection, and then I can just select all of these vertices here. I can press R, or I can press W, and then I can carefully move them. Now I can press E, rotate it. Also I can press R to rescale and widen it, W for move. So those tools you can still use to further arrange these vertices. Let's see, in a more smoothening manner or arrangement. Oops, okay, so let's keep it there for now. So that's the first one, and then I'll just do another. So that would mean I will right click, go for another edge, select this, and then shift right click, and then I'll choose the connect here, the connect tool, Q to switch to the selection tool, right click, switch to the vertex selection, and then I'll just select these once more, W for move. Carefully I can press E to rotate it, R to scale it to widen that gap, or I can angle it further, E, rotate, oops, sorry, W for move, this one. Okay, saving work. Next I'll select this once more. So I've added 2 connections there, so be mindful of the count. So here I will right click again, use or select the edge selection, and then I'll select from here, and then I can just shift right click and choose connect tool once more, just once, press Q, right click, switch to vertex, W, and then I can just drag. I can again use the rotate tool and the scale tool to widen that, W for move, and then let's say I'll place it there, and then I'll once more right click, hold edge, select these edges, right click, and then do another, shift and right click, do another connect, Q, right click, vertex, and then I'll just select these new vertices here, W for move, and then I carefully adjust using the scale, the rotate tool, or using the scale tool. W for move, of course. Now we start to tweak it. You can press number 3 and see how it really smooths or how it will be in a smoothened way, or in a once we have smoothened it. So you can use that preview, knowing that this is going to be how it is going to follow once it is smoothened. I can press 1, and then from here on the inside I can right click and use the vertex selection to just properly space these vertices from each other, creating a more, let's say, a smoother topology or edge flow, right, for the model. Now remember, we have created two, right? We have created two connections. Now that would mean there are two new edges here, actually 3 on this one, but I want you, or I need you, to focus on this 2. Alright, because this is what we will do first, because we're going to try to close this temporal area now, right? So we have the cranium already formed, so this area, the temporal area, is still open. So what we will do is we'll switch once more, right click, I'll switch to the edge selection, I'll select these edges here. So oops, sorry, I can right click edge, I can press Q or selection, and then what I'll do is I'll just hold shift and double click the next, so the edge ring runs along here. Okay, so I will right click this or shift right click, and then once more I will choose connect tool. So now I have a connection, pressing Q. Okay, and then I can carefully now go to the chin area, right click, choose the vertex selection, and using the move tool I can carefully form out that chin. Okay, that chin detail that I mentioned that was unique earlier and will need an additional, as I've done, additional vertices and edges through this connection. I can spacebar, or I can switch here, panels, orthographic, and then front. So just checking this new vertex that I have created, just carefully adjusting them to maintain that flow. Okay, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so the next thing that I will do now is spacebar here, right click here, and do edge. So now that I've created this cut, I can simply select this and this and do a shift right click and then a bridge. I'll click that, a bridge is going to be created, a bridge of polygon, pressing Q to exit the bridge tool. Now once more I'll do the same here on this side, shift right click, and then I'll click bridge, pressing Q, and done with that. Now on this side, let's say on this side I have already one here and one front, so I will just select that, those two edges, shift right click, go for the bridge. There it is, pressing Q. Next I will select these 3 now, or 4 edges here, right? I can select all of those 4 edges there. Oops, right click, edge selection. So I'll select those 4 edges running across, shift right click, do a connect, pressing Q, and now I have that. I have that connection. Then I will just right click once more here, choose the vertices there. I can shift right click and check if the target weld is available in this menu. I'm trying to find it. Crease. So I cannot find the target weld here. Okay. So since I cannot find the target weld, I can just control spacebar to bring out the rest of the menu, and then I can go here and then I can choose target weld. Now the target weld will allow me to select this vertex and weld it to that vertex. So now it's closing. Do the same here. As long as the target weld is active, I'll click this vertex and drag it to that vertex. So now the temporal area is closed. Pressing Q to exit the target weld, and then I'll tap spacebar, look at the front view, carefully look at the temporal polygons or edges. Now I'll select this vertex here, press W, and I can drag it here at the front view so that it follows the reference. The flow will follow the reference. Saving my work. So now I have closed the cranial area or the temporal area. I have closed it and have completed the cranium. So the next thing is, let's complete the back of the head. Okay, so this is just using the edges. I can select all of these edges here, but my target mainly are these horizontal ones, but I don't need the one on the ear. I'll keep that part open. So I only need the horizontal ones here. I'll hold control and deselect those vertical ones there. I'll press W, and then I'll just shift and drag to extrude those selected edges. So I will extrude until I have aligned it with this there. Okay, so we're fine with that. And then again, I'll align with the next edge here. So I'll just do another shift click drag and carefully Lv04 move tool or control vertices, control click the vertices, and I can select that. Switching to the edge tool, do another for this, shift click drag. So I'm just dragging, saving work, and then this, right? So let's say I will just drag until here, because this is where we will start the neck. Shift click drag there. Okay, so that means now I can bridge these openings here, right? I can control spacebar. I can select this here and this here, shift and right click. I'll choose the bridge, Q, and then do the same here. Shift right click, bridge. One last, shift right click and bridge, Q, and then here. So now what is left is going to be the base. Wait, I just need to move some W vertices here, there. Okay, so now what I need is just shift right click, edge once more. I need to select these edges along with these edges here. So what I can do is I can control space bar, I can choose the lasso selection here, and then I can drag along this there. So as I've said, I only need the horizontal ones, so I can hold control and deselect these. Okay, the next thing is I'll select these ones, so I'll do the same. I'll select, holding shift, I'll select these. Oops, It's not adding up. Oh, now it's adding up. And then I'll hold control and I'll deselect these portions here. There. So now that I have those, right, I can press W and then I can just shift, click and drag, and that's how I can start with the neck. Carefully just dragging them like this. Right, let's say we want them dragging down straight. I can press R and I can scale this all together vertically, and then I can just drag along here to widen it a little bit, move, and there. So it's the neck, so we can refine it later on. So now I have this, the half finished face of my character, right? So what I will do next is I will of course shift click drag or shift H. I will save that progress of mine so that you can review it later on if you have your backups. Hiding that. So what I will do next is I will just now go to my edit, and then I'll just go to duplicate special. So the values are here. I'll just make sure that I have -1 on the X scale axis. Apply that, close it. So there it is. So now, after I have done this, I can now combine it. Control click to select all of its vertices, because I know I need to merge the middle ones, because that's where, in a way, it is glued. So I will just go to my vertex selection, have them all selected, and then I'll go to my edit mesh and I'll choose merge. So all of those vertices are going to be merged together. Look at the vertex count at the right. There, see, it got less. Press Q. So now, if you panels and perspective, if you will look carefully, yeah, we have a base. So we will, I think this is protruding too much, right? So what I can do is I can try and adjust. This one got too defined. Yeah, these are the ones as usual. So what we will do is let's deselect those, yeah, and then let's carefully adjust this. I can press R, slightly widen that, and then I can press W, deselect some, carefully pushing it, right, and then pushing the one in the middle, because that's where the arcing will be seen. Also the nose, yeah, our character's nose is a bit prominent, or very prominent. So but so far we are finished with the head base. So what I'll do is I'll just have this part down here. I will go to edge selection, double click, and then I can shift right click, do a circularize, pressing Q, going to my panels, orthographic and front, so I can use the vertex selection here or scaling them downwards, W or E, there. There. Yeah. So now this so far is our character's face. So we will continue by attaching it onto the body. I'll see you on that lesson.